What's up everyone, Mr. Noob2 Gamer. I'm sure you guys noticed in the background I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and that's the game we're going to be talking about today because Modern Warfare 2 was my introduction to the COD series. It was my first Call of Duty game. It was actually the first M-rated game that I was allowed to play. So MW2 will always have a very special place in my heart because it was my first COD, and your first time is always special. So in today's commentary, we're going to reflect on Modern Warfare 2, my favorite memories of the game, and what got me into it in the first place. So I thought that would be something fun. But before we get into it, leave a comment down below about what your first Call of Duty game was and how you got into the Call of Duty series. I have a lot of subscribers from many different age groups. A lot of people are just like me. Their first COD was MW2, but you have older OGs that their first COD was Call of Duty 4. Some even go way back to Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3. But I'm sure I also got a lot of younger viewers who their introduction to Call of Duty might have been Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, maybe even as recently as World War II or Black Ops 4. But even though we all come from different age groups, we were introduced to the Call of Duty series at different points in the series' history, we all share the same love and passion for Call of Duty. And that's what this channel's all about. And it's crazy to think I've been playing Call of Duty for almost 11 years at this point, but here's how it all started. So every year for Christmas, my parents would buy me 5 games. I'd give them a list of 5 games I want, and they'd buy them at GameStop or wherever and wrap them up, put them under the Christmas tree, and I'd open them up on Christmas Day. And I didn't really want anything else. All I gave a shit about back then was video games. So for Christmas 2009, when I was coming up with a list of the 5 games I wanted, like I did every other year, I remember having a hard time to pick just 5 games because there were so many games I wanted, especially after getting a PS3 for my birthday a few months before. So one of the games I wanted for the PS3 was Ratchet & Clank: A Crack in Time, which is actually one of the greatest games I ever played. That was a really good choice. Another game I remember picking was Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, which is another really good choice. Amazing game. I'm still upset that the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection didn't include Uncharted 2's amazing multiplayer because now the servers are shut down and I'm really upset about that. So that was another really good game that I picked, so I had 3 more games that I could get for Christmas. For some reason, I also went with Rabbids Go Home for Nintendo Wii and Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes. Those games were terrible. But I loved the other Rabbids games on the Wii when I was younger, and I also loved Star Wars The Clone Wars back then. That was like one of my favorite shows, so I thought those games would be great. Turned out not to be the case. But when I was coming up with the 5th and final game for my Christmas list, my sister came out to me and was like, you need to pick up Modern Warfare 2. That's the game you need for Christmas. And back then, I was 11 and she was like 16, 17. So I guess she knew a lot more about like what the cool thing was, even though she wasn't really much of a gamer, but all her friends kept talking about Modern Warfare 2 and how they loved it and how amazing it was. And now I realize the reason why she wanted me to pick up Modern Warfare 2 is because I was the one that owned all the game consoles, so if I got MW2, she'd be able to play it. So after my sister kept hyping up MW2 to me, I'm like, okay mom, I want Modern Warfare 2, that's the last game on my Christmas list. So she sees it and she's like, okay fine, you're old enough to play M-rated games, you're 11 years old now, it's fine, you're old enough to play Call of Duty. So she gets me those 5 games for Christmas, but she let me open one of those 5 games to play on Christmas Eve. Now they're all wrapped up, so I had no idea of knowing which game was which, but I found a little way of doing that, because I wasn't supposed to choose which game. It was supposed to be a surprise, right? Because that's the whole point of Christmas. Even though I knew all the games, she wanted me to, like, pick one game randomly. But when she wasn't looking, I kind of, like, peeled the back of it, and I saw Modern Warfare 2, and I'm like, that's the game I want to play on Christmas Eve. So I cheated, but I knew that's the game I wanted to play more than any of the other ones, because my sister kept hyping it up to me, and I was convinced Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the greatest game I'll ever play. So I opened it up, put it in the disk tray on Christmas Eve. I remember as soon as I booted up that first mission on the campaign, I was blown away. Because not only was it my first Call of Duty, but it was also my first M-rated game, and it was the first FPS game I ever played. And I remember just staying up all night playing through that campaign. I didn't get to finish it because I was really bad, because I had no other prior experience with first-person shooters, so I kept dying a lot, but I still had a lot of fun. So I played all those other games I got for Christmas, but most of the time I spent was on Modern Warfare 2. I eventually beat the campaign, but I couldn't play the game online because I got it for the Xbox 360. Even though I had a PS3 where I could play online, my Xbox 360 I didn't have gold. And I still don't understand why I didn't just get the game for PS3 on Christmas, but I guess my OCD, I wanted to have each game for every platform I had, just so that one console wasn't left out, I guess, but I didn't really care about my Xbox 360. It was like a cheap Xbox 360 arcade that my mom won in like some kind of lottery or something. So I played the PS3 a lot more than the 360, but for some reason I decided to get Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox. And when I got the game, I knew nothing about World at War or Call of Duty 4. I didn't know anything about the Call of Duty series beforehand, and I especially didn't know anything about online multiplayer, so I thought wouldn't make a difference if I could play online or not, because I didn't even know that I could play online, except when I got the game and I saw there's multiplayer, it's like, oh, you need an Xbox Live Gold subscription. I'm like, shit, I fucked up. And I go on YouTube and see all these commentators like Woody's Gamertag, that guy who camps, Thunder. I look at these guys on YouTube having so much fun on multiplayer, I'm like, shit, I'm really missing out. So I guess what I could have done was buy an Xbox Live Gold subscription, but instead I decided to pick up MW2 again, but for the PlayStation 3, because online was free and I had a lot of friends on PlayStation 3, so I thought it was worth it. And I remember my first time playing multiplayer, I'm like, holy shit, I really was missing out. This is fucking awesome. I kept dying, my KD was always negative, but I was having a lot of fun. I'm glad I had friends that were able to put up with my awful skills and me holding them down. They had no problem carrying me, which was really cool. And I have a lot of great memories playing with friends in Modern Warfare 2 on PS3. I was never able to get the tactical nuke because I was just so bad. Me getting a 25 kill streak, like, yeah, okay. That was never gonna happen. And this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but 11 years later, I still haven't gotten one tactical nuke in Modern Warfare 2. I've gotten Pavlos, I've gotten AC-130s, chopper gunners, never got a tactical nuke. And me realizing that, like, playing this game, the gameplay you're seeing right now, that, like, wow, I'm still shitty at Modern Warfare 2 after 11 years, but I'm good in all the other Call of Duty? Like, what the hell is up with that? Like, how in 11 years, me playing this game for so long, I never got a tactical nuke once? But then I also realized, I haven't seen a tactical nuke in years. I shit you not, the last time I remember a nuke being called and ending a game was like 2011, 2012. Like, I barely remember the last time I've seen a nuke in this game. Because the people that still play Modern Warfare 2, they're fucking good, and they know what the fuck they're doing. So it's really hard to go on a 25 kill streak, especially when everyone's got one-man army, noob tube, danger close. Modern Warfare 2 is just such an unbalanced mess. Not only with danger close noob tubes, but you got the death streaks. A lot of the maps also encourage camping. Not quite as bad as Modern Warfare 2019, but still, it's very difficult to run and gun in a lot of these maps like Favela, Afghan. Modern Warfare 2 is just really hard, and it still gives me PTSD, because you have so many things happening at once. It's so hard to understand, like, how do I get these kills? How do I not die? Because it feels like you're dying every 5 seconds. But for its time, Modern Warfare 2 was fucking amazing. I'd still consider it one of the greatest Call of Duty games of all time. Even though it was my first Call of Duty, I still don't think it's the best. I think that would go to Black Ops 1, and yeah, as soon as Black Ops 1 came out, that's when I really fell in love with the Call of Duty series. Zombies back then, holy shit, was fucking amazing. And the multiplayer actually preferred a lot over MW2. I didn't feel like I was dying all the time. So I definitely have a lot more fond memories with Black Ops 1, but Modern Warfare 2 still definitely holds a very special place in my heart because it was my first Call of Duty game. And back in its prime, it really was something else. Like, if you were part of Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009, 2010, you know what I'm talking about. It really was like no other gaming experience I've ever had. It was fucking crazy. And I know if they get around to remastering the multiplayer, I'm definitely going to buy that shit, and it's going to just keep bringing me back to the old days, back in 6th grade when I'd come home after school, play this game nonstop, into the night, not doing my homework, of course. I just love this game so much. I still do. Even when I go back to this game 11 years later, it's still really fun. Definitely a lot better than the new 2019 Modern Warfare. That ain't Modern Warfare. I don't know what the fuck that pile of shit is, but it's nothing, nowhere near as good as Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, even Modern Warfare 3. I'll go as far as to say that, even though not a big fan of MW3, it's still a lot better than what we got right now with this new Modern Warfare reboot. What a shit game. And if they make a sequel to it and call it Modern Warfare 2, I'm going to be really pissed off because there will only be one Modern Warfare 2, and that's the game you're seeing on your screen right now and the game we've been talking about for the past 9 minutes. My very first Call of Duty. Definitely wasn't perfect, had a lot of problems, but I still view it as one of the greatest Call of Duty games ever made, and also one of the greatest military FPS games of all time. Fun multiplayer, amazing campaign, definitely a great introduction to the COD series for me. And of course, this very game is where my gamertag comes from. You see my other gameplays and all the other COD games, I play every Call of Duty like Modern Warfare 2. You'll always see me with a grenade launcher.